what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Ways of the Sith. Thank you so much for taking time to check out the channel. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on X and Instagram at Ways of the Sith. So rather than doing a bunch of individual Star Wars Black Series reviews, I figured I would just edit them all together. I did film them all individually and plan for individual videos, but I have so much stuff that came and so many other reviews and videos that I want to get up. I didn't want to take up multiple days with Star Wars Black Series because a lot of these are reuse and repaints and retools. So really outside of the Padme. So they're quick reviews. I figured it was just easier to group it all together. Now, my thoughts on the Black Series brand as a whole have been really negative lately. I just really don't see what they're doing and what direction they're actually going with a lot of these re-releases of characters that or just came out in previous lines or are still available like at very reasonable prices, but they're just putting them in a different box and, you know, putting them out the same exact way. I don't understand it because people who do customs, people who 3D print and do head sculpts and everything else, we use these same parts to make brand new characters, so they should be able to do the same thing. And to me, that's the direction I'd like to see. Marvel Legends does it, G.I. Joe does it. There should be no excuse why Star Wars can't do the same thing. If they need lists of parts or figures that they can use, please reach out to some of the customizers and we'll gladly help steer this brand in the direction that like it should be going. There's tons of characters from the prequels that haven't been released. I'm happy to get this Padme, but as we'll see in the review, she does have some problems to her. But there's tons of characters from the prequels that we don't have. This is the anniversary of Phantom Menace, and we were all under the impression that we were going to get a full line for Phantom Menace, but it turns out we're only getting Padme and Anakin, and who knows where Mundy is. He was revealed 2 years ago now, and there's still been no pre-order for him. He's shown up in China already. So, again, I don't know what's going on with this brand and why they can't seem to really get things nailed down, especially when they hear the community and they see the outrage that happens when they do live streams. They should probably take that as a sign that the brand's not heading in the right direction. But yeah, we're going to take a look at all these individually and then I'll give you some of my thoughts at the very end. They still, I don't know, this doesn't look any better as far as the Natalie Portman likeness to me than the previous one. Slightly, but still not great. I am happy to get her in this outfit and see number 3 in the Phantom Menace line. So yeah, none of those other ones I guess even count because they're from the black and red box. So that's how outdated anything Phantom Menace has been. But this is cool. I would really like a Queen Amidala. I feel like that's a definitive look that we should definitely get. Even maybe a Sabe, Padme, you know, outfit would be cool too. I get why they went with this though, because this is the iconic outfit she fights with at the very end. So let's get this open and let's check it out. All right, so here is our look at Padme outside of the package, and this figure has very, very limited posability. The arms are just single jointed elbows, so you really can't do much there. Can't do much with these legs because for whatever reason, Black Series decided to cut articulation and movability on their figures and get rid of the thigh swivel just to do these single jointed legs, which are horrible in my opinion. The figures don't really move well, don't really pose well. It's just basically to have figures stand in a position on your shelf. And if I wanted to collect figures like that, I would go buy McFarlane's. So no paint applications on the new Naboo pistol. It's literally just printed in silver resin or gray resin. It's not even silver. This got painted. This has the metallic tone on the sculpt, and this actually looks decent. And then they gave you an alternate hand, which looks about the same as the other hand that's on her. So yeah, not really thrilled with this. The neck is super loose and the head is super loose. So like, I have a feeling after a little bit of time that head's just gonna tilt down like that and not really stay up. Overall, not very impressed with this. Probably should have just waited for this to hit clearance as well. The likeness is not very good. but it is better, I guess, than the aggressive negotiations version of her. But yeah, it's good to go on my Phantom Menace shelf. Like I said, there's a big hole there with a lot of people missing from there. But doesn't seem like Hasbro's really going to be tackling people that we actually want. We need Watto, we need 3PO, we need Sheev Palpatine, not Emperor Palpatine. We need just regular Sheev. Yeah, there's a lot that's just missing from those movies, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they really know what they're doing with that line or what's coming. So this is my other Star Wars Black Series pickup, the Mace Windu and 187th Legion Clone Trooper. Finally, we got the proper color scheme. I know the brown red version came out and was a Walgreens exclusive. It was really hard to find. I was able to find a couple of them, but I ended up selling them off because to me they just looked so awkward on the shelf. Nothing really matched that color. To me, they were always purple. That was kind of the whole point, is that they went with Mace Windu. So I'm glad that we finally got like an official release. The Mace is pretty much Mace. It's just got the gauntlets from the Clone Wars, so he looks more accurate to there, which I'm fine with. That's the version of Mace I kind of had displayed on my shelf anyway. But yeah, I ended up picking this up because I mainly wanted these two to go on my Clone Wars shelf in these iterations. So yeah, I don't really have much Black Series stuff on pre-order. I got the Padme figure, which is pretty cool, but not really that great. I had a lot of loose joints and a lot of problems with it. The Black Series line as a whole, as I said, is kind of taking a weird stance with using a lot of reuse and not using that reuse to make new figures. So it's tough being a collector for the line currently with a lot of the stuff that's coming out, especially when it's kind of all over the board. It's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward, and I know WonderCon is coming up weekend, if you're watching this when this video comes out, so hopefully we get some more actual reveals for some characters that we really want. But these 2-packs have been kind of hit or miss. Some of them have included stuff people really wanted, and some of them haven't, so it's kind of been all over the place. But this is the front, this is the side artwork. Here's a look at the back that just breaks down the two of them, and then you get Mace on the other side. So this will be a real quick review. Let's just open these up and take a look. All right, so here is a look at Mace Windu and the 187 Trooper outside of the box, and I really dig it. I think it looks good. The new clone body is fantastic. I talk about that every time I review one of these new clones. The fact that we have the removable, helmet, and you can see the clone sculpt underneath, I really love that. I think that should always be a standard when you're doing clones, especially since we have so many different ones that have different hairstyles, different looks. It's just a nice touch to include that. Same thing with the Mandalorians, that the helmet should always come off and we should have that head underneath it. Mace looks great as well. And one of the things that I don't know if I mentioned in the review of Ezra or Clone Wars Ahsoka is they've been doing something new with the lightsaber blades, where if you notice, they have like a small little crackle of stuff down the middle of the inside of the blade, and it actually makes them glow like under black light. So with Ezra Bridger, Sabine, Clone Wars Ahsoka, and I think there's one more blade, they actually like glow. If you have a display light over your setup and it goes to like a purple or like a black light color, or any of those like types of colors that affect blacklight stuff, you really see those saber colors stand out and pop on the shelf, which is a nice little touch, and it makes it, give that glowing effect. So I'm a fan of that. Hopefully they continue to do it. It looked like the Mara Jade Last Command pack has that same stuff in those sabers, so it looks like they finally did like a blue blade, and it looks like Mara's is similar to this. So I'm not sure if this is one of those types of blades, but they did them with the green, so I'm hoping they start to do that with some of the other colors. But overall, the Clone Trooper has like a nice little scar over his eye too, which is just a nice little touch. I dig this. The sculpt is nice and clean. These pose really well, which are great. This Mace body they've reused I don't know how many times now, but for me, this is the version of Mace that I wanted on my shelf with the Clone Wars garb. I think this just looks great. But yeah, overall, it's a great set. Like I said, I don't really need to go too in-depth on it because they are figures we've already gotten, just painted differently with a little slight tweaks. So I thought I was done with Star Wars Black Series, and then I came across the Pyke Soldier and Tusken Chieftain on the shelf. I'd been looking for the Tusken Chief, but I had thought both of these figures would be a little easier to find. Up until recently, this was the first time that I spotted them in a store. So thanks to the Target sale that's going on this week, I used my coupon and ended up putting these in my purchase. 2 separate purchases, but got the coupon, so I got some money off in the long run. So yeah, Book of Boba Fett figures, probably going on 2 years now since the show actually came out. I think there's another wave of Boba stuff coming. My guess is it might be revealed during the WonderCon panel. This video might come out after WonderCon, so look at some of the updates just in case. But I know they did tease a updated Boba Fett and the Tusken warrior, the female warrior. So my guess is they'll be coming at some point. But let's get these open and let's take a look at some more Star Wars Black Series. All right, so here is a look at the Tusken Chief outside of the box, and overall, not a bad figure. It is pretty much your standard Tusken, which doesn't really explain why this took so long to get out. I guess they had to get the robes, the head, and the little ornaments done, but otherwise, it is pretty much the same Tusken figure that you're used to. This is a little bit more pliable, though, than the other skirt on the previous version. And it is, I think, a slightly different overlay. It might actually be like an Old Man Kenobi overlay that they used, but it is a little softer. So overall, he looks cool. He's just going to stand on the shelf. The Book of Boba Fett stuff, I have like 3 other Tuskens. So he'll go right in front of them and look pretty good, I think, you know, on the shelf there with the rest of them. And then we'll get that Tusken warrior. I know there's a kit out now that I believe Land Speeder Luke made that you can, you know, make her on the dark gray body. So if that's something you want to do instead of waiting for the figure, you know, that's an option. But overall, he's cool. You know, nothing special. But like I said, I would prefer reuse on parts and bodies like this, as opposed to, you know, just re-releasing the same old character. Because every store I went to today, all those Vaders are sitting there. So it looks like Vader's going to be the next peg warmer for Black Series, right up there with Lando. And here is the Pyke Trooper outside of the package. And again, reuse. This is using the Bill Burr Miggs Mayfield body, and they just did the rubber overlays for the attire. So to me, the one thing with this right off the bat would be that I wish this faceplate came off and you could actually see like the Pyke underneath it. That would have been a nice little touch to have that removable faceplate and to be able to, you know, display them multiples, having some with the faceplate on, some off. Overall, it's a nice addition. I only picked up one. I didn't feel like I needed, there was another one on the shelf and I debated picking up 2, but at the end of the day, I'm either just going to stand this one, you know, with the Boba stuff. I might even put him with the Darth Maul, my Mandalore throne room, because they were part of the Black Sun Syndicate. So I'm not sure where he's going to go yet. He might even just go in my Cantina display, just as another patron in the Cantina. But overall, pretty decent. And again, just reuse. So I would prefer that over the same characters. I just, to me, it's a no-brainer. Marvel Legends does it. The other brands at Hasbro do it. They should be able to do it as well. So I commend them on the good reuse, but overall they're just basic figures pretty much. This and the Tusken Chief, they're nice additions, you know, for characters that we haven't had, which is good instead of, you know, the same thing. But yeah, overall it's cool. Maybe wait this out or see if you can get it on a sale. Both of them, actually. Like I said, I had not seen these anywhere, so when I saw them, and then I took advantage of that Target sale to get the discount. So it was worth it to me. Well, that'll do it for today. Like I said, I just compiled all these edits, so excuse anything that might seem out of sorts in the video, like referring to something else, because I did edit these all together. But overall, I would like to see this brand head in the right direction, and I don't know if it is. the Pyke Trooper and the Tusken Chief are perfect examples of what I'm referring to about reuse, but using that reuse to make new characters. And they did that with those two figures. I would like to see more of that in this brand. And I understand they're probably not going to touch any vehicles, but creatures would be a great thing. I would have bought this Tusken Chieftain had he come with the Hound and maybe the small little kid Tusken or the female Tusken as like a pack. That's a great idea. Stuff like that, world building stuff, maybe including some more accessories in this line, I think is the key to help improving it. We're paying the same amount that Marvel Legends and G.I. Joe are paying. And when we can look at those brands and see that we're getting a lot more stuff for the money that we're paying, I'm more inclined to spend my money there as opposed to spending it here. Thankfully, that Target sale was going on and I took advantage of it to pick up a couple of these. But I don't know how many more Vaders, Mandos, the same exact characters that they can do anymore. Because for me, if that's the direction they're going, then I will be backing out significantly of picking up this line. I'm not a TVC collector. I have no interest in 3.75 stuff. So for me, Black Series is the perfect representation of something that I truly love in Star Wars. So when I'm negative or I'm frustrated about this brand, it comes from a place of wanting it to succeed. And I hope that comes across to all of you that watch these videos. But let me know in the comments what you guys think and what you guys think about the state of the overall brand. Thank you so much for taking time to check out the video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And as always, may the Force be with you. This is The Ways.
We would be honored